So I have said it before and I'm going to say it again. The rich get richer, because today we need to talk about the Alabama Crimson Tide continuing their insane run of recruiting in the month of July. And if we want to talk about an insane run, let's just focus on this week alone as Alabama adds their second five-star in the class of 2023. This time, the number 2 running back in the nation, a prospect y'all have heard me talk about time and time again that I wanted in this class. 5-star running back Richard Young. Today, we need to break down what this means for the Crimson Tide going forward, what Richard Young brings to the table, and why Alabama's recruiting class is always one you have to watch. But before we do, as always, y'all know the drill. I need to hear from you. Hop down to the comments. Y for yes, N for no. Are you surprised that Richard Young committed to the University of Alabama? And let me know what you're thinking. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed this content, like and comment down below. But having said all that, let's jump right into this because we have got a lot to unpack. I currently don't have AC and it is very hot in this room, but this is a huge addition and one we must talk about. Because anytime you can add in a player of Richard Young's caliber, you are automatically over the moon. This is someone Alabama fans need to be over the moon about. And the reason is quite simple. Because when you break down what Richard Young does well, it's pretty much, well, everything. He is an incredibly dynamic running back who's just as likely to run through you as he is to make you miss, and he's very successful out the backfield. And whenever you look at the total package he brings to the table, I think he's going to fit in seamlessly with this Alabama running back room, and because of that, I thought he was such a big weapon. But when we look at the big picture here, Alabama now has a commitment from the number 2 running back in the nation per 24/7 Sports Composite, and the number 3 running back in the nation per 24/7 Sports Composite in Justice Haynes and Richard Young. Alabama continuously recruits the running back position at an extremely high level. We've talked about this before. We can go to the NFL draft where they've put countless running backs to the NFL draft. We can look at the 5 stars they've had and continue to be able to get in. Richard Young joining a long list. But at the end of the day, this is a massive win for Alabama that vaults them from number 5 to number 4, but they do so with having the least amount of recruits within the top 5 at 16 and also fielding the highest average recruit ranking in the nation at 94 plus. So sky truly is the limit for Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide because they are recruiting at an incredibly high level. And a lot of people were kind of wondering what Alabama was going to do, especially in the age of NIL. Well, they backed that up last year with a phenomenal class who, even though they didn't come in the first class overall, they fielded the highest average recruit rank last year at a 95 plus. So a really stellar class last year, and they're continuing to push forward this year. A lot of people have questioned whether Nick Saban's age, whether the adjustments that have been made to college football, such as the transfer portal and especially NIL, would spell the end for Nick Saban, so much so that even people who cover the sport were voicing their opinion in this matter. But at the end of the day, I'm of the mindset of until you show me differently, I'm going to believe in Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide, and this is exactly why. Because time and time again, we've seen Alabama's recruiting class start off a little bit slow. You get into the summer, maybe they're lagging behind, and people are starting to question what's going on in Tuscaloosa. But inevitably, before August gets here, we see that boom, exactly like we've seen this week. Now let's take a look at Alabama's recruiting class holistically here, because with 16 prospects, this class is really strong. Because if we just focus in, Alabama, of the 16 prospects they have in this class, 8 of them rank within the top 100 players in all of high school football per 24/7 Sports. 2 of them are junior college players who actually don't go into the rankings of the top 300 prospects in the nation. But if we look at the JUCO players they've acquired, the number 1 JUCO player in the nation, who's a wide receiver who just so happens to be a real difference maker at the wide receiver position, can't wait till he gets on campus, as well as the number 2 JUCO player in the nation, an inside linebacker who's the number 1 inside linebacker in all of junior college football. So Alabama is recruiting at an incredibly elite level right now. I'm not surprised about it. A lot of Alabama fans aren't surprised about it. And what's more surprising is how many people continue to question Nick Saban and Alabama, even though time and time again, the same result is had, which really brings me to the definition of insanity. Expecting a different result, but nothing really changing. And until something changes, until Nick Saban falls off in terms of win-losses during the season or in recruiting, I'm going to feel very comfortably betting that they are going to finish with a top recruiting class and be competing for national championships, at the very least competing for playoff berths, because that's the expectation that's been put forth at Alabama. But I think this class could be special. If you've been tuning into this channel for the past year, you've known, I've said even a year ago, the class of 2023 was one to watch. The reason was simple, because if we look at the position of need, there is a ton of talent in the position of need for the Crimson Tide, a lot of it in the state of Alabama, and now they're winning huge battles out the state of Georgia, out the state of Florida, and I think we're only getting started into the level of dominance Nick Saban wants to have on the recruiting trail in 2023. I think this is going to be a special class. Can't wait to hear from all of you as Alabama continues to roll, getting 2 5-stars in a week and arguably having the best month of July in terms of recruiting, as they now sit at the number 4 class in the nation with the highest average recruit rank and the least amount of prospects in the top 5. Can't wait to hear from all of you. Hop down to the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. That's it. See ya.